All right. And welcome back to the Real God for Real People podcast. I'm with my co-host,
Hey
Morgana.
guys.
Glad we're able to get back on and even do a little bit of video. Work with us for a little while. We're still working to see what's the best route to get clear video and good audio, but I think this is going to be a good tool for us.
Yeah.
So, Morgana, you want to say anything to the people?
Hey guys, good to see everyone today. Well, maybe not see everyone because I can't see everyone across.
Right. She just
But
speaking
I'm
that
so
live
happy to be
audience.
here. Yeah, I'm happy to be here with you guys.
Hey, I love it. I love it. Nah, man, you speak that live audience, live stream into the pod. You ask not because you have not. I'm gonna
Right,
get into
right. 100,000
my spaces.
people. Good to see y'all.
I love it. So this week, on the Real God for Real People podcast, we try to talk
Mm,
about how a real God desires to intervene and also be a part of our everyday life. And also this week, we wanted to talk about, hey, what does it look like
mhm.
to actually move an accomplishment, right? But actually live it out in a biblical way. Like, how do we accomplish things well and live well at the same time? Because we can accomplish a lot, and that's kind of the name of this one. It's not about what you accomplish, but how you live. If you look at the
Yes.
world on a regular basis, you have successful people who have accomplished many things but struggle with depression, anxiety, with self doubt, with self confidence,
Yeah.
because their lifestyle publicly doesn't match their lifestyle
Mm.
privately. And we want to talk about that a little bit because I think we all
Woo!
struggle with that. But yeah, Morgan, what you got? How you feel about that?
Man. Man, I feel like this plays also a big part in what's on your paper as far as like what have you
Mm-hmm.
accomplished in your life, like with
Mm-hmm.
your resume,
Yep.
when you're speaking to people, when you're networking, all that stuff. They want to know what you've accomplished,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Um, but if what also comes into play is how you living.
Mm-hmm.
How you
Mm-hmm.
living. Like you could have accomplished all these things, but still be in depression, got
Mm-hmm.
trauma on your back, got a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of drama happen in your life, and somehow you're
Mm-hmm.
still balancing the accomplishments of life. I also want to say this, like there is a
Yeah.
certain list already out there for
Mm.
just people in general. Go to high school, graduate, then go to
Mm-hmm.
college, graduate. Then after that, start your career. Once you start your career, you need to get married. Then after you get married, you need to have kids. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's not everybody's life though. You know
Nope.
what I'm saying? Like
Nope.
that's not everybody's agenda. And when things don't happen the way
Mm-hmm.
society tells us the way it's supposed to happen, I feel like that's when some drama, doubt, depression comes into play, anxiety, because you're trying to fulfill all these
Mm-hmm.
accomplishments in life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if we're going down the right path here, but I'm
Hey, no,
going
no, you killing it. You killing it. No, 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 you
but
got it.
that can sometimes bring on uh uh negativity in our minds that we're not good enough,
Sure.
and then we begin to start living a wild life outside of
Mm-hmm.
our accomplishments
Mm-hmm.
because we're trying so hard to fulfill the accomplishments that we're not living right because we're trying to do whatever it takes to
Mm-hmm.
accomplish what society tells us to accomplish. So
She got them preacher hands, y'all. And then he said, "No, I think you
yeah.
own it, right?" I
No,
think
I'm from Memphis now. I live in Memphis,
I
so we got to use our
can't.
hands.
I can't. But no, I think you're on it. When we think
Yeah.
about where self doubt or doubt of any sort comes from, it comes from believing something that in essence until now has not been what you believe, like, right? We
Mhm.
think about as a whole where self-doubt started in
Mhm.
the scriptures. It started with Eve. Eve is
Mhm.
told one thing, right? and then
Yeah.
she chooses to believe another thing the minute someone else or another outside source tries to contradict what God had said. And if we
Mhm.
really think about it, if we go like you're saying, if we go into life saying this is the trial marker for success, and
Mhm.
no one else has explained to us that's one trial marker for success, but there's
Mhm.
many roads you can take, and really all success needs to point back to God, right,
Yeah.
for it to
Yeah.
actually be successful.
Yeah.
Then when we go that one trial marker, we realize, hey, my life isn't going in that trajectory, I must be failing. And so we
Mm.
lose track of living a purposeful life that's
Yeah.
honoring to God in an effort to be successful. Like even
Yeah.
if you think about music artists that started out in the church, but then they went into their career platform and didn't keep a direct line to a local church,
Mhm.
they usually lose themselves in the process, and they get all this success, but it means nothing because it has no eternal value.
Yeah.
Right? So no, I think you're killing it. You know, whether we
Woo!
realize it or want to own it or not, but you
Yeah.
own it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I also will say, and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Keep me in mind over there, brother. Um, Accomplishment. Let me see. I had it in my head, but when you have a accomplished relationship with Christ, then you are living. When your accomplishment for me now in life is fulfilling God's purpose. That's the accomplishment we should be focused on. That's
Yep.
the way of actually living. When we are
Mm-hmm.
focused on what He is asking us to do, we are in
Mm-hmm.
obedience and submission. Because I'll be honest, I'm gonna step on out and be transparent. I'm in my
Hey.
obedience and submission era.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. We
because
had long conversations about this.
we,
Uh huh. I get it.
I am in that season, and I'm fighting with God. He fighting back with
Mm-hmm.
me. Not really, because I probably would have already been dead if he really
Oh yeah,
fought
yeah.
with me.
Dead ain't even the word. You just been like, so let me hit you with this pinky flip, and just the crater in which you once stood, you're no longer there. I hit you so hard you ain't even go to hell. I don't know where you went. Nah, I'm playing. I'm playing.
But God's grace and mercy endures
Uh
forever.
huh. Hey, hey. He knew who he was dealing with when he created you. He said, "Oh, okay, she wanna
Man,
wanna be like Jonah. That's cool. I give her a second."
if I'll say this, and
Yeah.
maybe this, I just want to make sure I stay on topic though too. But
No, you
if
good.
we realize, like, if we were treated the same way we treat God,
Mm-hmm.
we would have been done with ourselves.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think what we look at too, if we're not cautious, is the reason accomplishment and success is held to such a bar is because culture is trying to get us to build that outside of God. Like you
Mhm.
don't need God to be successful or to be well
Mhm.
groomed or to get into the school you want to get into or get the job you want to get to.
Mhm.
And that's fine and dandy, but the issue there becomes, okay, that God is, even if you get it, quote unquote, without God's help, which isn't actually what's happening, you can't even keep these spaces without God's
Mhm.
help in shaping your character for the title or the job that you have. And I think
Mhm.
that's the piece that's missed because folks will strive to achieve these spaces, but then they haven't looked out for their family and made that a priority, and now
Right.
they're divorced
Yeah.
or they're roommates with their family versus that being their first ministry. But I
Mhm.
think at the root of it, I think why a lot of that happens is I think we struggle with making God the priority in the things we pursue, right?
Mhm.
It's easy to pursue something for our own glory, but when we are pursuing it for God's glory and with His direction, it usually ends well. And not necessarily
Right.
you did it, but it
Mhm.
ends in a way that's honoring God and you're content, you know. But why do you think we struggle so much with making God's will our priority in our like our journey to being successful? What do you think?
Mhm. Oh, say that one more time. You said, why do you think we?
Why do you think we make it? Why do you think we struggle with making God's will our priority as we pursue success?
Um, Struggling with that. Oh man, because we want We
Mm-hmm.
first off, our flesh
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
arising, and we want to do what we want to do. Let's
Yeah.
be honest here.
Yeah.
So that's why it's always a struggle, because it says even in the Bible, daily deny
Mm-hmm.
yourself, pick
Mm-hmm.
up your cross, and follow
Mm-hmm.
Him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's new, and we that's a literally a daily thing, because
Yeah.
you have to say, I'm gonna wake up, and it's not my will, it's God's will. It's not
Mm-hmm.
my way, it's His way. For
Uh-huh.
you to have to do that day, like you on the world side, you be like, well, he don't care about me. He don't
Uh-huh.
love me.
Uh-huh.
We gotta always do what he do. And then you start getting an attitude, and you start getting
Yep.
angry. You like, I don't want to do what God want me to do. I want to do what I want to do because I know
Yep.
what's best for me. But then we forget He's who made us.
You ain't wrong. You ain't
He
wrong.
made us.
Not with the people's eyebrow. He who made us. If you,
All right,
I
I went
can't pay
too
that
far.
check. I can't pay that check, bro. But no, man, I think you're right. I think at the heart of it, if we're honest, God don't always answer as quickly as we want Him to when we're making decisions, and to wait on Him to give us direction, or at the very least to strive to pursue things that only brings Him honor. We're always going to struggle with that. For one
Yeah.
reason, it requires us to be patient, and it requires us to take our will out of it. And none of us at the heart of it is really trying to naturally do that. That is experience, and that is submission, like we started with. And if we don't submit, we gonna get the experience. That's how I feel. And
Mm.
so I think you're on it. I think you own it. And it's
Patience.
tricky.
Woo. Patience is key.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Patience is key. Waiting on the Lord. I know that I am in my waiting season,
Yeah.
and just with different things, of my life. Okay, what's going to be next? Where am
Mm-hmm.
I going here? And that 5 year mark that everybody asks
Yeah.
you, what are you going to be doing in 5 years? I don't know. Probably still following Jesus Christ, sir.
Yep.
So,
That's the only goal I
I
got.
mean, not saying that we shouldn't have a plan,
Yeah.
but if I have not received the plan
Mm-hmm.
from my
I need
Lord
to
and
sit.
Savior, I
Uh-huh.
don't know what else to tell you. Like,
No, you own it. You own it.
so I don't have a 5 year plan. I can make one up. I can do
True.
that. I can do my best ability. And I'm gonna bring this into play. It's the same thing when we go down
Uh-huh.
to Brazil. We have a
Uh-huh.
plan,
We do. We do. And we really wanted to stick to the plan, but we gotta be flexible. That's what my mentor told me. You know?
but we gotta
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
patience and be flexible and get down there and
Mm-hmm.
figure out possibly another plan.
Yep. Yep.
It's still
Yep.
going to be what we came down there to do: the sports camp,
Yep.
the churches, I mean, the schools,
Mm-hmm.
and the villages, things like
Yep.
that. But it might be in a different order,
No, I agree with you.
So
I agree with you.
that might. It's not that God doesn't want to help us. He sees our desires.
Mm-hmm.
But if it does not align to what he wants us to do, then he'll and let me tell you something. This is another thing. He will give you what you want a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times. He'll give you that
Mm-hmm.
job that you've been crying your eyes out about, and then you
Mm-hmm.
finally get that job, and it's not what you thought it was gonna be.
Mm-hmm. You on it.
And he'll be like, right.
Yep.
So do you want
Nope.
to do it my way or
Or
your way?
yours.
Which
Just let
one?
me know. Just let me know, bit dog. No,
But
I
he'll
think
let you
you're
figure
on
it
it.
out first. Go ahead.
No, you're on it. I think the thing for me, what I'm learning, and I think what you're describing, even the way I would put it in this season, is God will release us from His desires for us and allow us to pursue our own desires. I think He talks about it in Romans. That's what we're studying right now,
Mm-hmm.
where I think it's in Romans 1 or 2. He's saying, hey, they pursued lust. They pursued things that were even worldly to the Gentiles. They pursued after each other, woman
Mm-hmm.
and woman and man and man. And this isn't a slight at any social group. So if y'all send me an email, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to read it. But it is to say he's a gentleman. He allows us choice, even though he has a will for our life. And he waits on us to realize our choice wasn't the best decision. And literally the way the author of Romans put it is even though the people who knew God knew better, he still allowed them to pursue after the things of the world in hope, really, that they would draw back to him in repentance,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they realized they traded creator for creation. Well,
Mm-hmm.
let me switch it. They traded creation for creator. And I
Mm.
think in doing that, the struggle bus is if you know what you had was better than what you have right now, even just practically speaking, but also spiritually, emotionally, or physically speaking,
Yeah.
it causes you to do what the Greek translation of repentance is, which is turn away from it and draw back to God. But I think the thing is folks think they got a whole bunch of time. And that even leads us to the other question, which is so if that's the case, how do I distinguish success based on God's will or my will? It's very simple, in my opinion, which is, hey, do you get more glory out of it or does God get more glory?
Oof.
One. And then
Mm.
two, real simple. Uh, is it possible for you to do it without full dependence on God? If it is, that might not be what he's calling you to do right now, right?
Mm.
Because usually the stuff he's calling you to do is a step out in faith, right? Like us moving to North Carolina, that was for me personally a dependence on God. I had a very nice, high-paying IT job, and I actually liked what I did. Right? I didn't
That's
hate
what
my
I
job.
said.
Let's set the record straight. I liked my job. I did. Had flexibility. If I wanted to help the church, I could help the church. Like, it's not my full time, so I love you guys. But I gotta go to my 9 to 5, okay?
Right. Right.
But it was that. Our kids were 6 months and
Yeah.
we had just bought our first house. Just in the
Mm-hmm.
market to sell that house in 3 weeks. It's like, okay, Lord, I can kind of see, where things are moving. Like off the record, on the record, we technically sold our house before the church voted on me coming. And I was like, oh, okay. Did I move too quickly, Lord? Or is that nah, just wait on me? Oh, okay. But once again, something in which it's like it won't happen unless the Lord is behind it. And
Yeah.
for us, if we was in that season and it's like looking shaky, what we would have had to do is go buy another house because I understood the Lord had clearly told me to move this direction,
Mm.
and take my family and my 2 6-month-year-old kids with me as well. But what about you? How do you think, in your view, you've been able to distinguish my will, God's will, and the difference at times?
Oh man, I
It's
feel
tricky.
like I'm not at peace when I'm not in His.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
spirit on the spiritual level. You can do what
Mm-hmm.
you want to do flesh wise and
Yeah.
go ahead and get whatever job that you want, accomplish as many accomplishments as you want. When
Mm-hmm.
God is not in it, there is that unpeaceful feeling that I know that I've dealt with many times. And I'm like, something ain't right. I got to go talk to God, fast, pray. Something is off. Something is
Yep.
always off.
Yep.
I do not feel at peace when I am not in His will. So when that happens, I know I have to be more intentional
Mm-hmm.
on um, praying and talking with Him. Really, I feel like heavier in my word, and you do it daily. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about 24 hours a
You be
day. You're like,
you
okay,
be interceding, boy. I just need to hear from you, Lord, please.
yes, yes, and just kind of fast and just really understand where He
Mm-hmm.
needs you to be at in that season. And it's hard
Mm-hmm.
because I'll do that kicking and screaming, and then
Yep.
eventually, it's like if you just do what I said, things will be a
Should have
little
been
so
simple.
much better. And I'll be like, really? But it's that fear that comes into play. Like, well, what if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? And
Yep.
all of that. And He's just like, okay, what if you do fail? You're gonna get back up. I'm gonna be right here, and we're gonna
Right
keep
there.
on moving.
Mm-hmm.
What other
Mm-hmm.
questions do you have? Like, life is not guaranteed to be easy. It's
Yep.
it's only guaranteed that He will be with you at all times.
Yep.
That's it. I don't know.
You
It's
on
just,
it.
that's the only difference. So, anyways, back to
Nope.
what we were saying. Peace. Peace
Yeah.
is
At peace.
how I know
No.
that
No,
I'm
you own it.
will.
I mean, that was kind of what it was for us, where it was like, okay. this seems really crazy to every other person I talk to. Not only am I at peace, my wife's at peace. Okay, well, where two or three are gathered, I guess we're gonna have to make this work. You know, but I think that is something that is sometimes diminished in the world we live in, the very modern world. Well, what is peace? That's just an illusion. No, 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 no. Like there's a peace that comes from God that is beyond our understanding when we keep our hearts and minds stayed on Him. That's what the
Yeah.
scriptures say. And I think when we are not at peace, that is a red flag. Hey,
Yeah.
have you really talked to me about this, or are you just hoping I put my stamp on it, like a
Hmm.
genie or something, or a post office worker?
Yeah.
Like that's not gonna fly. And I think sometimes he'll allow us to get that far just to be like, all right, so you want to talk about it now? No, okay, I'll give you some time. All right, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to make this step you're waiting on until we talk about it. So,
Yeah.
but no. So, last question before we get to our last segment, which is kind of a food for thought. For you,
Hmm.
do you find in your experience right now, and whether it be church, whether it be corporate, whether it be education, because you're in seminary kind of like me right now, do
Yeah.
you find that as folks become more successful, they gain more power or authority in their position, that influence causes them to um, really lose sight of God's will in the process?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not careful, once again, of denying your flesh daily
Mm-hmm.
and picking up your cross and
Yep.
following Christ, then you will fall by the wayside with your relationship with Him, and also thinking that you did it and not Him.
Yeah. Yeah.
God
Yeah.
will wipe an entire business out real quick if you
Well.
begin to think that it
Mm-hmm.
was you and not Him.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Seen many people, everybody like, yeah, I'm gonna marry a millionaire. That millionaire can get wiped out in the lickety
Mm-hmm.
split, just like that, honey. It don't
Mm-hmm.
take them
Mm-hmm.
that much. So if you think that your empire has
Mm-hmm.
been built off of you, you
Mm-hmm.
might want to think again, and you have to humble yourself. And it's hard because when
Mm-hmm.
you get up there and everybody's pumping you up and woo, yeah,
Hey.
girl, you good. Oh my gosh, you're an amazing person.
Yep.
Oh, you know how to do this and that. Nobody else can do it.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
You ain't
okay.
wrong.
Kind of, and I don't know if I should. Well, let me see if I'm bringing in the right person.
Hey. You do your thing.
Let's do Samson, for
Okay.
instance. He
Yep.
was a powerful, mighty man, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for me, like if it was already told and prophesied over him, if you get your hair chopped off, that is it, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You on it. You on it.
And it even says, I don't know the right verses, but go to Judges.
It's the
And
judges. You doing good. You doing good.
it's in Judges for sure. I do know. But once his hair was chopped off, it says
Mm-hmm.
God left him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Lord left him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
On the
Presence.
spiritual side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like when I saw that, I was like, man, it don't matter if he had all the muscles and guns and abs. When his hair was chopped off, which
Mm-hmm.
was a representation of God being with him,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Well.
it.
Yeah. You ain't
It,
wrong.
it was over for him.
Yep.
So if you want to think that your business and it's all about you, okay, get your hair
Yep.
chopped off.
I mean, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. And I think practically, and maybe even, I deal with the practical side first. I think practically speaking, this happens without people realizing it,
Mhm.
because as people are elevating you, you're kind of de-elevating God. And even like to me personally, I had a mentor and I appreciate him greatly, where I, because of what I saw growing up, didn't even do well with compliments. People like, oh man, you did such a great job last week, at worship, or with preaching or with the students. And I'm like, oh great. But I wouldn't even say thank you, because I'm like, man, it's really not me.
Mm-hmm.
And a mentor of mine was like, man, I know why you're doing that. It's like you're trying to not even allow the window for pride to come in. Because another mentor was like, bro, it's okay to take comments. Like, you don't know where I came from.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not doing that. That's a trap for me. I know me. You don't know me yet. But he had me
Yes.
rolling because he was like, look, what I've done over the years of ministry is if I receive a compliment like that, I'll just say, hey, praise the Lord.
To
That
God
both
be the
closes
glory.
the door and that makes the person feel as though, hey, oh, shoot, man, he really appreciated the compliment, because
Mhm.
it kind of guards your
Yeah.
heart. And I think, practically speaking, when our heart isn't guarded, our emotions and our spiritual order and who gets all of the glory is off. And if those are off, practically speaking, our morality is going to be off, because
Yeah.
our morality is tied to our spiritual and emotional being, in which is obedient and humble to God. And
Mhm.
so if those are off, now we're making justifications for sin, whether
Mhm.
it be small or big. Well, I go through a lot. I need this drink. I go through a lot. I need to hit this blunt. I go through a lot. Man, we just friends, but my wife don't know. Like, all of
Mhm.
these things slip in, and as we continue justifying the sin, it leads to that moral failure, or it leads to that court case, whatever those things may be, because we have allowed the boosting of others to now come above pleasing God.
Yeah.
And there's but a matter of time in which now our moral and spiritual code is off, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not dependent on God. And what I loved is, like, Ecclesiastes went through a series at our church in Ecclesiastes. And I'm like, this is gonna be a drag. I ain't tell the pastors. I was like, this is gonna be a drag. Okay, I'm gonna support y'all. I'm with y'all. This is gonna be a drag. I'm gonna try to stay awake. But when we did it in Ecclesiastes 1 all the way through 3, I believe, really the whole book, but 1 and 2 specifically, Solomon has gained this great wealth, but he realizes it's vanity. He
Mhm.
is the richest ruler still known in all time, for
Yeah.
argumentative sake. And
Yeah.
he's also the wisest man of his time. And if you know the story with Solomon, he asked for the wisdom out of a humble state, which was, I
Yeah.
want to rule a kingdom that I didn't really earn.
Mm.
That's wealth
Mm.
is above the charts as a superpower, and
Mhm.
I want to protect God's people, but I am too young to be able to do it myself. Give me the wisdom
Give me the
to
wisdom.
rule God's people well.
Yeah.
But it's his morality went off the charts, chasing after things of the world,
Mm.
realizing by the end, when he becomes an old man and writes the Ecclesiastes, like, it's all vanity. And I think
Yeah.
that's when we can take from others and move forward in success from their failures, it helps us to then be able to walk out our faith well, which
Yeah.
is, man, success means nothing
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
a biblical, holy life that's chasing after God. You
Woo!
know? Mm,
That part. That is so, and without, and when people, because there are many people that have money,
mm-hmm.
having too much money can be
Mm-hmm.
dangerous in the wrong
Mm-hmm.
hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to have God intertwined. Okay, God, well, where do you want me to move this money to? Who do you need
Yep.
me to bless? Like, those are
Yep.
things, as a believer, as someone who is Christian, has a personal relationship with Christ, those are things you should be thinking about. Not like,
Yep.
how can I keep all this money? None of this is going with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're
We
not
can
wrong.
have all, but none of it is going with this. It's staying right here on earth.
Yep.
It's staying right here.
Yep.
It ain't going to heaven. None of that. So it's better to see with God, how do I need to use the money and
Mm-hmm.
bless others so other lives can be transformed and their relationship with Christ can build, because it's like, wow, God bless me through that person, and they can see um God's glory, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
maybe not glory is
Or
the
provision.
right word. Yeah, God's
Mm-hmm.
amazingness.
Mm-hmm.
The awesomeness that he is. So, anyways, yeah.
I love it. All right, so food for thought. And this will be how we end off from this discourse, what do you feel like is one takeaway you would give someone that is, or even you would hope someone would give you, right? That is, how do I pursue success, but also live out a biblical private life as well?
Mm, a private life. Um,
hmm So pursuing success, but doing it in a way that honors God.
yeah, yeah. I would just say whatever you do, always checking in with the Lord that that's
hmm
what He wants you to truly do,
hmm
and being in obedience and submission to Him on a daily basis, having that
hmm
personal, close knit relationship with Him, because that's the only way you're gonna really know. I
hmm
mean that to know what to do daily, really,
hmm
and to also um, have a successful life through
hmm
Christ.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
good. Nah, I think for me, with our conversation, it really is, hey, there is no success outside of God. And if I'm not
What?
allowing him in the conversation, then I'm
Yes.
actually not allowing him to lead me. Right.
That part.
And that's just gotta be like, that's gotta be the roadmap in which we live our life, or we're gonna pursue success and not even
Yeah.
have him a part of it, you know?
Yeah.
But cool. This has been good. This has been good.
You said it in better words than I did. I
Nah,
said a bunch of words, but you narrowed it down, my brother.
nah, you got it. You got it, man. You got it, sis. But nah, so love doing this, guys. This will be one of our pods on the Real God for Real People. You
Yes.
want to leave feedback? We have an Instagram page. It's called Preacher Man S. And if you want to follow our Facebook page, it literally is Real God, the number 4, Real People. And it's a private group, so just ask to get added in. I promise I add you, unless you know your Facebook page scares me. And then other than that, we just want to continually be doing this every week because we
Yeah.
believe that we serve a real God that desires to intervene in real people's lives every day.
Yeah.
So we will catch y'all soon. Morgan, you want to say bye to the people?
Bye, guys, and hope to see you guys next time.
Hey.